Hello, and welcome back to Speak English Daily.
Hi, everyone. We are very happy to see you here today.
Hey, English learners. Welcome back to Speak English Daily, your friendly place to build confidence and practice real English every day. I'm Anna, and I'm so happy you're here with us today.
Hi, Anna. And hello, everyone. I'm Mike. It's great to be back. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, Mike. Thanks for asking. How about you? How has your day been so far?
Pretty good, actually. I got up early, made some breakfast, and spent a little time reading before work. Then I met a friend for coffee. It has been a busy day, but a nice one.
That sounds lovely. You seem to be having a productive day.
I think so. I was a bit tired when I woke up, but after breakfast I felt much better.
Hold on a second, Mike. You just said some very interesting things.
Really? What did I say?
You said, I got up early. Then you said, I met a friend. And after that, you said, I felt much better. Those are simple sentences, but they have something important in common.
Uh-oh. That sounds like Teacher Anna is about to appear.
Maybe just a little. Sometimes people focus so much on learning new words that they forget something even more useful.
Now you've made me curious. What is it?
Let's just say today's topic can help you speak more naturally without needing a huge vocabulary.
Well, now I really want to know what we're talking about.
Well, today we're talking about something that can make speaking English feel much easier. We're going to explore sentence patterns that people use again and again in daily conversations.
I think I need this topic. Sometimes I learn a lot of new vocabulary, but when it's time to speak, my mind goes blank. The words are there somewhere, but I can't seem to put them together quickly.
You're describing a very common experience. Many learners spend months or even years collecting vocabulary. They know hundreds of words, yet speaking still feels difficult.
Yes, that's what surprises me. I look at a word and understand it. I hear it in a video and understand it. Then someone asks me a question and suddenly I don't know what to say.
And that's because words alone are not the whole picture. Vocabulary is important, of course, but you also need familiar structures that help you build sentences naturally.
So the problem isn't always missing words.
Often it isn't. Think about cooking. Imagine you have vegetables, rice, spices, and chicken sitting on a table. Those ingredients are useful, but dinner doesn't appear by magic.
Someone has to know how to combine them.
That's right. Sentence patterns are like recipes. They show you how to put words together in a way that works. When you know the recipe, speaking becomes smoother and much less stressful.
I like that comparison. Words are ingredients and patterns are recipes.
That's the idea. And before we continue, if Speak English Daily is helping you improve, please subscribe, leave a like, and share the podcast with another learner.
Great idea. The more we practice together, the more confident we become.
So, let's begin with our first sentence pattern. This one is simple, useful, and something you can start using today. The pattern is I am.
That sounds easy enough. Like, I am happy.
Yes, that's a great example. We often use I am to talk about feelings. You can say, I am excited, I am nervous, I am relaxed, or I am tired.
So it's a way to tell people how you feel.
That's one important use, but many learners don't realize how flexible this pattern is. You can also use it to talk about who you are, where you're from, or what situation you're in.
Can you give us a few examples people might use during a normal day?
Sure. You can say, I am a student. You can say, I am from Brazil. You can say, I am ready for the meeting, or I am busy this afternoon.
Oh, I see. It works in many different situations.
It really does. That's why it's one of the most valuable patterns in English conversation. People use it every day without even thinking about it.
I think I understand. If I say, I am hungry, I'm talking about a feeling. If I say, I am a photographer, I'm talking about who I am.
Perfect. And if you say, I am at the library, you're talking about your location. Same pattern, different purpose.
That's interesting. One small pattern can do a lot of work.
It can. Think of I am as a bridge. It connects you to information about yourself. Whether you're sharing emotions, describing your identity, talking about your condition, or explaining your situation, this pattern helps you do it clearly.
The more we talk about it, the more I notice how often people use it in everyday English.
Now, let's move to our third sentence pattern. This one is powerful because it helps you start conversations, ask for support, and interact with people more confidently. The pattern is can you and can I.
So we're talking about asking for help or asking permission.
That's a big part of it. Think about how often these situations happen. You need information, you need assistance, you want to check if something is okay. These patterns help you do all of that politely.
What are some examples?
You can say, can you help me? Can you repeat that? Can I sit here? Can I ask a question? These are short sentences, but they open the door to real communication.
I like that. They're simple, but they seem useful almost everywhere.
They really are, and they remind me of something that happened a few years ago.
Now I'm curious.
Well, I was visiting a large bookstore in a city I didn't know very well. I was looking for a language learning book, but the building had several floors and hundreds of shelves. I walked around for nearly 10 minutes feeling completely lost.
That sounds frustrating.
It was. I kept thinking, maybe I'll find it myself. But eventually, I walked up to an employee and asked, can you help me find the language section?
And what happened?
The employee smiled, pointed me in the right direction, and even recommended a few great books. The whole problem was solved in less than a minute.
That's funny. You spent 10 minutes worrying and one sentence fixed everything.
That's often how communication works. People sometimes wait because they're afraid of making mistakes, but a simple question can create opportunities, solve problems, and start conversations.
I think many learners will relate to that.
I hope so. The key lesson is this. You don't need complicated English to connect with people. Often, a short, polite pattern like can you or can I is more valuable than a long sentence filled with difficult words.
That's a lesson worth remembering.
We've talked about describing yourself, expressing what you want, and asking questions. Now let's move to our fourth pattern, and this one is closely related to something we learned earlier. The pattern is, I need to.
That sounds similar to I want to.
It does, and that's why learners sometimes mix them up. Both patterns are followed by an action, but the meaning is a little different.
How so?
When you say, I want to, you're talking about desire. It's something you would like to do. When you say, I need to, you're talking about necessity. It's something important that should be done.
So if I say I want to take a nap, that's a wish. But if I say I need to take a nap, that's more serious.
That's a great comparison. Maybe you're tired and resting would be helpful. In that case, you want to take a nap. But if you've slept only 3 hours and can barely keep your eyes open, you probably need to take a nap.
I think my coffee understands that difference better than I do.
Your coffee probably has a very busy job.
It certainly does. Without it, my mornings would be much quieter.
Here are a few more examples. I need to finish this report. I need to buy groceries. I need to call my dentist. These things feel important or necessary.
While I want to watch a movie or I want to visit another country feel more like personal wishes.
That's right. And here's something interesting. You can combine both patterns in one sentence.
Really?
Sure. You might say, I want to stay in bed, but I need to go to work.
That sentence describes millions of people every morning.
It probably does. And when you can express both desire and necessity, your English becomes much more natural.
I like this one. The difference is small, but it changes the meaning a lot.
Now let's continue with another very useful pattern. This one helps you talk about the future. The pattern is, I'm going to.
Oh, I hear people use that every day.
They do. We use I'm going to when talking about plans or intentions. Usually it's something we've already decided.
Can you give us some examples?
Of course. I'm going to visit my cousin this weekend. I'm going to start a new book tonight. I'm going to practice English after dinner.
So the decision has already been made.
That's the idea. You're sharing a future action that you plan to do.
Let me try one. I'm going to clean my apartment this Saturday.
Very good.
Actually, maybe I should say I'm going clean my apartment.
Close, but don't forget the word to. The pattern is I'm going to plus a verb.
Right. I'm going to clean my apartment.
Perfect. Small corrections like that help build strong habits.
I also noticed that people use this pattern for very simple plans.
They do. You don't need a big event. You can say, I'm going to make lunch. I'm going to take a walk. I'm going to call my sister.
That makes it easier to practice because daily life is full of small plans.
That's one reason this pattern is so valuable. You can use it many times every day.
And the more I use it, the more comfortable it becomes.
That's how confidence grows. You don't wait until you're perfect. You practice with real situations.
I think many learners need to hear that.
Now let's look at our sixth pattern. This one helps keep conversations moving. The pattern is, what do you think about?
I like this one because it sounds friendly.
It is friendly. More importantly, it invites another person to participate. Instead of talking only about yourself, you ask for someone else's opinion.
So it keeps the conversation alive.
That's a great way to describe it. Imagine you're talking with a friend. You might ask, what do you think about this movie? Suddenly, the other person has a chance to share ideas.
And the conversation keeps going.
Right. It works in many situations. You can ask, what do you think about this restaurant? What do you think about online learning? What do you think about my idea?
It feels like you're passing the conversation to someone else.
That's because you are. Good conversations move back and forth. They aren't long speeches from one person.
Can I use this with people I don't know very well?
Certainly. Imagine you're waiting for a train and someone mentions a new sports event. You could ask, what do you think about it? That simple question might lead to a pleasant conversation.
I can imagine using it with friends. Maybe, what do you think about our vacation plans?
That's a perfect example. People enjoy sharing opinions. When you ask thoughtful questions, they often feel respected and included.
So this pattern helps with English and with social skills.
It does. Learning a language isn't only about grammar. It's also about connecting with people. And asking what someone thinks is one of the easiest ways to build that connection.
The more we discuss these patterns, the more useful they seem in real life.
We've reached our seventh pattern, and this one is wonderful for expressing personal thoughts, reactions, and feelings. The pattern is, I feel like.
I hear that phrase often, but I don't think I've used it much myself.
Then today is a great day to start. One reason people love this pattern is because it has two common uses. The first use is for talking about something you want to do at a particular moment.
So something like, I feel like eating pizza.
Yes, that's a perfect example. You could also say, I feel like watching a comedy, or I feel like staying home tonight. You're talking about what you're in the mood for.
I like that. It sounds very natural.
It does. Now let's look at the second use. You can also use I feel like when sharing an opinion, impression, or instinct.
Can you give us an example?
Sure. You might say, I feel like this project will be successful, or I feel like something is missing from this plan. You're expressing a personal sense or judgment.
So it's not always about wanting something.
Correct. Sometimes it's about your perception of a situation. It's a gentle way to share what you're thinking.
Let me try both uses. I feel like having a cup of tea, and I feel like this podcast is helping me become more confident.
Both sound great. The second one makes me very happy to hear.
Good, because it's true.
Here's a funny question. If someone says, I feel like doing nothing today, should we call that a plan?
Only if they're very committed to their relaxation goals.
Fair answer.
And honestly, after a busy week, I think many listeners understand that sentence quite well.
We've covered 7 useful patterns today, and now I'd like to try something fun. Let's imagine a full day and see how many of these patterns naturally appear.
I like this challenge. Let's do it.
Great. Imagine you wake up tomorrow morning. What's the first thing you might say?
I am a little sleepy because I stayed up late reading.
Nice. You just used our first pattern to describe yourself. What happens next?
Well, I want to make a good breakfast before starting my day.
There's pattern number 2. You're talking about something you would like to do.
Then I realize I'm out of eggs, so I asked my neighbor, "Can I borrow a couple of eggs?"
Excellent. That's our question pattern in action. And what does your neighbor say?
Hopefully something friendly.
Then I make breakfast and remember that I have an important meeting later.
What do you say to yourself?
I need to prepare my presentation before the meeting starts.
Perfect. You're expressing necessity. Keep going.
After breakfast, I check my schedule and think, I'm going to leave home a little early today.
Wonderful. That's a future plan. You're sharing something you've already decided to do.
Then I arrive at work and meet a colleague. We start talking about a new project.
And how do you keep the conversation moving?
I ask, what do you think about the new proposal?
Great choice. You're inviting another person to share an opinion.
Later in the afternoon, after the meeting, I think, I feel like everything went pretty well today.
There it is. Pattern number 7. You're expressing a personal feeling about the situation.
This is interesting. It doesn't feel like a grammar exercise at all.
That's because these patterns belong to real life. They appear naturally when you're speaking about your day.
Let me continue. After work, I meet a friend for dinner. I'm hungry and I want to try a new restaurant. And I ask, can you recommend something good from the menu?
Very natural.
During dinner, I need to answer a message for my brother. Then I tell my friend, I'm going to visit my family next month.
Nicely done.
We start discussing travel and I ask, what do you think about road trips? By the end of the evening, I feel like it was a great day. The amazing part is that those 7 patterns carried me through almost everything that happened.
It's time for our vocabulary moment. Let's look at 5 useful expressions from today's conversation. The first one is productive. When someone is productive, they use their time effectively and get important things done. It doesn't mean being busy every second. It means making progress on meaningful tasks.
Let me try an example. I had a productive morning because I finished my report, answered my emails, and organized my schedule for the week.
That's a great example. You completed several useful tasks, so productive fits perfectly. Our second expression is necessity. We used this word when talking about the difference between wanting something and needing something. A necessity is something important or required. It isn't simply a preference, it's something you should have or do.
How about this? Water is a necessity for life, but a fancy coffee drink is not. One is required and the other is just something I might enjoy.
Well done. That example clearly shows the difference between a necessity and a luxury. That's how native speakers often use the word. Expression number 3 is intention. An intention is something you plan or mean to do. It refers to your purpose behind an action. Even if something hasn't happened yet, your intention shows what you hope to accomplish.
Here's my example. My intention is to practice English for 20 minutes every evening, even on busy days. I want it to become a regular habit.
That's an excellent sentence. You're describing a clear goal and a planned action, which is the heart of intention. Let's move to expression number 4, opportunity. An opportunity is a chance to do something beneficial or valuable. Opportunities can appear at work, at school, while traveling, or even during everyday conversations.
Let me try. When I attended a language exchange event, it gave me an opportunity to meet new people and practice speaking English in a relaxed environment.
That's a perfect use of the word. Opportunities often help us grow, learn, and gain new experiences. Our final expression is perception. Perception is the way you understand, interpret, or view something. Different people can have different perceptions of the same situation because everyone brings unique experiences and opinions.
Here's my example. My perception of public speaking changed after I gained more experience. At first, it seemed frightening, but now it feels exciting.
Wonderful example. Your understanding of public speaking changed over time, which is a great illustration of perception. Those 5 expressions are productive, necessity, intention, opportunity, and perception.
I can already imagine using all 5 of them in real conversations this week.
We've reached the end of today's episode, so let's do a quick review of the 7 sentence patterns we explored. We talked about I am, I want to, can you or can I need to, I'm going to, what do you think about, and I feel like. These patterns appear in everyday English again and again.
And the nice thing is that they're not difficult to use. They're simple, practical, and useful in many situations.
That's what makes them so powerful. You don't need hundreds of complicated expressions to communicate effectively. A few reliable patterns can take you a very long way.
Let me see if I can use several of them together. I am excited about improving my English. I want to practice every day. I need to stay consistent. I'm going to spend more time speaking. What do you think about that plan?
I think that's an excellent plan. And here's one more. I feel like learning becomes easier when I stop worrying about being perfect. I completely agree. Today's biggest lesson is that fluency grows through use. The more often you use useful patterns in real situations, the more naturally they come to you.
That's a smart approach. Before we go, we'd love to give our listeners a small challenge.
Yes, pick one of today's 7 patterns and create a sentence from your own life.
Then write it in the comments. It can be about your work, your studies, your family, your hobbies, or your plans for the future.
And here's today's question. Which of the 7 patterns do you think will be the most useful in your daily conversations, and why? We love reading your responses and seeing how you're applying what you learn.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please share it with a friend who is learning English too.
Thank you for spending this time with us on Speak English Daily. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and keep building your confidence one conversation at a time.
Take care, everyone. We'll see you again soon here on Speak English Daily. Bye for now.